All right, folks, we've got the Bitcoin 1 hour chart here. I just want to zoom out, start the video to see what we're dealing with here. For the brand new people, I just real quick need to say this is basically a flagpole. Take my magnet off. Flagpole with a bull flag. It's not something that most people were probably going to be talking about. Magnet didn't get turned off. But there it is. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's good enough for me in my experience. The strange thing that's going on now is okay, this big green channel going down on top has about a $9,000 target. Now, targets don't have to get hit. It's just something, a frame of reference. You know, that's big. 9,000 is big. If you count this one at bottom, it's about 12,500 to the upside. And it fits in with a lot of all the stuff that's going on with Bitcoin. The thing is it's broken out the top of it twice now, and it hasn't done anything more than like you know $2,800, $2,000. Since my last video, I had this real steep little ascending parallel channel in here, the structure in here, bearish, and I have things that point up usually break down. They don't always, but that's just the red channels. The green channels I do are the ones that point down, and they usually break up. But there's always new. I always think there's new people watching that have never seen this, or like they're brand new. They've never nothing to, So I always start to try to explain things, and I do apologize to my regular viewers. But anyways, I played this little red one here. My last video, I was talking about this, basically this exact action. If you go back and watch it, it basically all came true, except for after everything I said in the last video came true, then it pumped back up. And so obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I can just tell you right now, the pattern that's relevant is this red descending one here. It has a $3,000 target. And so I've just recently, I took a few days off from working and I started playing this, and I did really well just based on experience. These dotted lines in the middle, Bitcoin has a habit. I don't know if habit's the right word. It bounces off those a lot as resistance, or coming down like back here as support. See that? And this red channel is really, really in play for sure. So I don't know if Bitcoin's breaking out of the big green one on bottom with the huge upside target, or if it's going to break out the bottom of this red one again. Sometimes, it could break out to the top of this as well for a $3,000 target. So if it did it like in the next 24 hours, you're talking about $76,000 Bitcoin, that area. And if that were so, then you'd probably be talking about it's actually taking its macro pump up over 80,000. The strange thing is let me go to the daily chart. I got a cat in the background acting like a fruitcake. I don't know if you can hear that. He's hilarious. It looks like this is a consolidation for further upward continuation, but I'm not sure. Because last time we were in this place in the last cycle, even though it's like 8 months sooner, there was a lot of hype, a lot of retail hype, right? Lots and lots and lots of hype. Plus the fact Bitcoin was at about 20,000. So for Bitcoin to go from 20,000 to 60,000 real quick, where basically went up into the level of its all-time high before it corrected for one of the first times. That was $40,000 for Bitcoin to go up 200%, right? So if Bitcoin went up $40,000 right now, 40 or 70, that'd be like 60%. So right, that same kind of move would be a 60% gain instead of a 200% gain. And I just don't feel the hype and sensation. I just don't feel it this time around. It's more like institutions are just steadily buying massive amounts, and it's almost like nobody cares or paying attention. So that's kind of an odd feeling. So I don't know. I think it could kind of come down as well as go up. So I don't have anything other than say it's a coin flip as far as up or down. Now, what I can say is, let's go ahead and extend this guy out further. The reason I have two of them here is because you can see they're both in play. That's just things I've observed over time watching this. Where'd I have that? About right there. So Um, you can see the bottom of this red channel up here as we go down. Look at just the firm support, just over and over and over and over, and you can see, right. And so I want to show my trade real quick, and this is going to be confusing to a lot of people. I have an open long and an open short, and they're both underwater. And you think, well, I'm stupid. Well, I've taken profit multiple times on both the short and the long, and I haven't done the best job of getting back in at a good entry price. But it might seem confusing, but like in the last 24, 36 hours, I've taken profit on the long a couple times. And like up here, when Bitcoin hit this dotted line here, I took profit on the long. And I was going to wait till it came down to open up the long again. But I got in a little too soon because I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if Bitcoin, when Bitcoin rips to the upside, when Bitcoin puts in that $9,000 or so move to the upside, because it may have broken out of the green channel already, right? So I don't want to talk about that trade a whole lot. For those, it's hard to explain. Because I'm talking to new people and experienced people. But my point is last cycle I spent most of my time stuck in leverage long positions, right? And I just keep, and because I did it and I legged in and had dry powder and just kept legging in, driving up the liquidation price, driving up the entry price. And I only knew how to long, right? But I was stuck in long, and I just would keep legging in, and then finally there'd be a correction, and I'd take a really nice profit, right? And so this is kind of, and then plus since then I've been in shorts where I got stuck, and I just kept legging in, right? So technically, I'm kind of intentionally getting stuck in longs and shorts open at the same time, right? So in a nutshell, there's so many different variables. There's infinite amounts of ways with tweaks and twists and changing the leverage and this and that. It's just an infinite amount of things that I could do to tweak and fiddle with this. And it seems so confusing, but I didn't want to talk about this, but now I am. Basically, what I learned last cycle, let's just say I kept getting stuck in longs, because I have a feeling a lot of people out there listening to me right now know what it's like to get stuck in a long position. And this is human psychology. You don't want to take the little loss, and you just keep going and going and going. So don't ape in. Now this is totally different. What I'm doing is totally different than other people. I'm just saying the way I'm doing it, I don't ape in. I always keep dry powder. And the thing is what dawned on me, right? Say you're stuck in a long position. It looks like you might get liquidated, and you're trying to add. Keep pushing your liquidation up. Well, it dawned on me, what if I just stopped? Well, not necessarily stopped. You don't want to get liquidated. Always fight against the liquidation battle. But what if I had just opened up a trade in the opposite direction, right? Stuck in a long, right? And the price just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, right? And getting closer to the liquidation price of your long. And of course, you're going to keep adding to it so you don't get liquidated. But what if you just open up a short, right? and just open up another short or open up a short in opposite direction. So you're literally making money while your long's getting stuck. You're making money on that short, right? So when you get down close to your liquidation price on the long, you can just take profit on the short and then stuff that profit from the short into the long. So now there's a lot more to this, and it's very simple, but it would be very complicated sounding for me to explain it. But that's in a nutshell, right? So like right now, if this ripped up to 80,000, my long would do very well, and my short would be in danger of liquidated. But I could take profit on that long many times over and over and over on the way up, right? I could take profit on the long right before my short gets liquidated, and I can just keep adding increments into the short. And say Bitcoin pumps up to $82,000. See, my liquidation on my short is 77,000, right? So if Bitcoin pumps up to that level where I'm almost liquidated, I'll have a nice big profit on that long. and I can stick the profit from that long into that short position. And this is just how the market works, right? If Bitcoin goes up to 82,000, maybe 90,000, I can just keep pushing my liquidation price up on the short, and there will eventually be a big correction. So in recent history, it's about 18 to 22% correction. So, my entry price on the short at that time would be like over $80,000, right? My liquidation would be over 90,000. See what I'm saying? And I'm not telling anyone to do this, but I know how stupid this might look, and I just want to get that out the way. I could talk for hours about that, and best thing I could say is if you have $1,000, just open up a long and a short for $100 each in the same spot, and just watch what happens. But see, the reason I'm able to do this is because I have a good feel, obviously, for what's going on. And like I say, I took profit on my long, I think twice, just here recently, and opened it back up. So that's why it looks like that. It's not really underwater, and I don't think my short's underwater either, right? Because I've taken profit. And but anyways, we could be looking at the breakout now. This could be a $9,000 breakout from the green channel, but as you can see, it's looking like Bitcoin probably come up here and see it might come up at top to test the top, and then come back down. It's just hard telling, but see, I can watch that. So this is how I'm comfortable having a long and a short open, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I seen some comments in my last video, so I thought I'd say a few words about that. I kind of got long-winded there, but here's the big picture, right? You can see the yellow line up there, my liquidation price. Yellow line down here, liquidation price on the other side, and like I'll go to sleep with taking profit right before the liquidations. That's just in case there's some flash move while I'm sleeping, and I highly doubt that's going to happen right now because it's pretty stable stuff for now. But retail is not really involved, so it seems to be fairly calm waters. And I don't know what's going to happen. I just want to end this video on the daily chart here, if you can see through my patterns and stuff. So this could be technically a breakout. Let's go to like a 12-hour. Show a little more separation. So lots of times when prices break out from a pattern, they'll come up and out like so. This one here was actually came back in, and is almost exactly like I said in my last video. I thought it might come down a little further to the yellow line. Didn't quite make it, but it came back up into that red ascending channel, and it is out of the green one again. And this could have been a retest right here. Let's zoom in. I'm not so sure if this isn't the breakout. I'm not so sure if this isn't a breakout right here. This first one was kind of a fakie, and it comes right back up out of there, and it comes back down. And lots of times when the real breakout happens, it'll come up out here like so. It comes down and it bounces directly off the pattern, whatever patterns you're looking at, and then they call that the retest, and it's on its way. I don't know if that's what just happened or not. Like this previous one here where it broke out the top and came back down in, that's a real common thing I see. And I don't know. Did it just go for the fakie twice? Let's go back to the hour, and let's show you. This is so annoying. They need to do something about that. You can see it better here on the hour. See how this first one over here? This was the fakie. See that move a lot in Bitcoin. Came all the way down here. This is basically my last video. I called pretty much on the dot. This section through here, and then the dump. And it's hard telling what happens after that. Right after that last video, it printed this super steep red that was you can't keep doing that. It can't go that steep. It's impossible. And so I played that without making a video, and then boom, right off the bottom. And so, but this is off the top of that green channel. This is a breakout, and it came back down, and that's a bounce right off the top. That could be the retest. It's just too early, right? This big green channel descending with a $9,000 target to the upside, well, and the downside, but most likely up, is on the daily chart. So this is just the first part of it right here. This actually could be the breakout with a $9,000 target. It's just not. It's just too early, you know. So what I'm watching for is it going to just come back down? See this red descending, ascending one going up? That's good support. That's been really good support. So if it does stay in this channel, that could be the first part of the big breakout to up over 80,000. Or am I watching for it to break down out of here and just kind of crawl down? Sometimes it'll crawl down these trend lines like so for a while. And I don't know with the halving coming up, and it just seems like there's a lack of FOMO from the retail, and because I think because Bitcoin's been going up and to the right so far, right? So like 15,000 to 70,000, that just kind of isn't getting a lot of attention, and I don't know, it's a different feeling, but we'll see what happens. Let's go back to the daily chart, and I'll show you. I see on the daily chart, this is this is basically such a big pattern. You you can't really tell, right? It's just we may have had the breakout already and the retest, and lots of people on YouTube, lots of channels on YouTube, they might not even see that this is a big channel with that big of a target. They'll probably just have this as a trend line. And after that last fakey fake breakout, they might have just got rid of that trend line altogether. But I have learned that these patterns and trend lines come back into play all the time later down in near future history. And see that? It's hard to tell. The red daily candle here bouncing off the top of that green line, and now this could be the breakout. It may have just retested, and it could be on its way, folks, to 80,000. But I do not know. I do not know. But it would fit in with, in my experience, it should just in about now in the next few days. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see 3 or 4 big green daily candles, right? And the purple vertical line is the halving, which is now back to the 20th, which is interesting. For those of you that don't know, 4/20, 2024 is a palindrome. Which can be read backwards. That date, 4/20, 2024, can be read left to right. It's interesting, considering George Washington, the guy on our U.S. dollar, my channel logo, he grew hemp. He was a hemp farmer, right? Interesting. I just thought that was kind of interesting. The Bitcoin halving cycle. If the U.S. government starts buying up Bitcoin, they could probably save us from fiat collapse. So I don't know. They might be doing that secretly. We'll find out. We're gonna find out for sure. One thing I have to say is I try to keep my viewers on my channel based on reality, and I'm thinking 139,000, 140,000 is probably the tops for this cycle. Now there might be another pump later on, 2024 winter, and then maybe into 2025 it could come up again and maybe go for 200. But 140,000, I just want to keep you based on reality. But also, with that being said, like I said about governments, if it came out that the U.S. government was buying Bitcoin, and if it came out and nations started getting into a Bitcoin buying race, right? Um, which could happen, like the space race and the arms race. Um, they all know, they should know that the fiat system, and every nation for the most part does the same thing the United States does. It's not the U.S. dollar's fault. Every nation's pretty much just printing money. It's all fiat. So if it turns into a Bitcoin race, right, then that could go nuts. and you need to have some bit. You need to just flat out own Bitcoin. Like go over to Robinhood and or actually, you probably want to buy real Bitcoin and put it in your own wallet and stuff. But for now, just go over to Robinhood and buy some Bitcoin. That's good enough. At least you can turn it in for fiat later. But anyways, what I'm saying, if it turns into a race between nations gobbling up Bitcoin because it's got a finite supply, and it could get gobbled up, and there could be a supply crunch and a race to own Bitcoin. That could get nuts. So Bitcoin going to $1 million is not impossible in the next 8, 9, 10 months, right? That could happen, right? If Warren Buffett, I don't want to say Warren Buffett, but it could come down to it if there's a nation race, and it's kind of a common sense thing to do for countries out there right now to be buying gold and silver and Bitcoin. It's an interesting thought. If some of them start doing it, the other ones will be like, oh damn, we got to do this too, right? And they only have to put in just a tiny percent, right? And it would just be trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars eventually. But that's the only way I see it going way up. And I'm gonna end this video. Have a good day. We could be done with that big green descending channel, the big bull flag. This is the flagpole. That's the bull flag structure. That we could have already just had it break out and come back down for the retest. It's hard telling, but if it did, that would be a target of about this ballpark, and that's just for reference. It could easily come up higher and maybe a little lower, but 80,000, give or take a few thousand, would be in play for sure. All right, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. Later.